Okay, I'm back. Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. This, of course, is a watch along. We are watching the Euros. It's Euro 2024. We just came out of they were playing the France-Poland game. We saw Austria and Netherlands doing their thing. And now we're back to watch England. I'm only going to be here for the first half. I am stealing time right now, but very, very, very interesting game that we have ahead of us right now. And we're going to see whether England can find the magic. Kind of, there's been such high expectations on England for so long. It's coming home. Yeah, every year, every tournament they play, it's coming home. Every time they try. But luckily for them, they are the 5th best team in the world right now, 3rd in the European Union. And the team that they're playing is Slovenia, which are 57th in the world and 27th in the European Union. So it should be an easy game for someone, but we know how on paper things are not the same way. Talifang, it's never been home. It's never been home. You could argue that if that is what home is, then it's a runaway that doesn't want to come home, that doesn't want to go home. Something happened at home that this one is not coming back. As it stands in the group right now, England is number 1 with 4 points. Denmark is number 2 with 2 points. Slovenia with 2 points. Serbia brings up the rear with 1 point, meaning that this is technically still a very open group. You know, a lot could happen. When you're looking at the bracket view right now, the only teams that have qualified outright are Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy right now, as it stands. Right, so those teams are going to come up with different permutations. Portugal has to play the 3rd best finisher from A, B, and C. France plays the 2nd from the E group. Austria plays the 2nd from F. Hey, there's a lot that's happening, and they're still lopsided. On that note, Telefang, let me go through the starting lineup. You have Pickford, Walker, Rice, Stones, Gay, Saka, Kane, Bellingham, Foden, Trippier, and Gallagher. A name that's missing there is Alexander-Arnold, and that's where Gallagher is going to come in. What Talibang is referencing there is that they're still right side. Am I right? Right side dominant. I still don't know what Foden's role is going to be in this team. We still don't know how they're going to attack. Knowing that Gallagher's there, is Gallagher going to be the CDM and Rice plays normal 8 position, and how is that going to work out? On Slovenian side, you've got Oblak, Karnikic, you have Bijol, Spora, Elsnik, Sesko, Janza, Mlaka, Stojanovic, Druksic, and Serin. And you know what's also great about Slovenia? Badala formation ya Manyora. 4-4-2. Straight 4-4-2. No other business. 4 defenders, 4 in your midfield, and then 2 up front. No funny 4-2-3-1, 3-4-2-1, all of these fancy modern football things. You've got 2 strikers. One is normally going to come back and collect the ball while the other one stays up. You've got 2 midfielders. How we used to set it up, Kokasi, is that you've got one midfielder that plays the passes, another one that tackles. Let's see how it stands up to England's 4-2-3-1. A midfield of Gallagher and Rice, who's going to find the vertical passes to Jude and Foden. Wait, Talefang. Now I've been saying that this football thing is not rocket science, and a lot of these European coaches, especially the big ones, have been, I don't know, trying to solve problems, you know, where there's no problems. They're trying to answer questions that nobody's asking. Right, so as Umojan is saying, maybe Maino should have come in. Gallagher's energy, yes, that is true. Gallagher's energy, Maino's the brain. There's no one who's going to play that pass. Long story short, there's no one who's going to play that pass. Jude is going wide. Interesting. How Jude straight to an opponent. Evan. Guys, what's happening with the big teams? And when I'm saying big, I mean the talented teams, the teams with the big names, the teams with the famous players. What's happening to them in this Euro? We just watched France. France has no idea how to progress the ball up the pitch. They have no idea how the ball is going to get to the front. We watched Portugal. They have Bo Bruno, they have Bo Cancelo, they have all of these big name players, Bo Silva. Can't find a pass to save their lives. Right? Can't play the ball up to save their lives. We've seen the big teams struggling. England is also same shandies. And I'm telling you guys, I swear, this man, Gareth Southgate, is probably looking at that 4-4-2 that Slovenia is playing and is thinking, yeah, man, I wish I could play that ball. Yeah, I wish I could play that formation. And when you say Hendo, Talifang, I get it. When you look at Liverpool and how Liverpool plays, the whole point of their play, or earlier Klopp, I don't know about now Klopp, the most interesting part of their play, or the thing that they do, is bypass the midfield. So basically, you would have your Milners, you'd have your Hendersons, you'd have those guys who are really hard workers, super hard workers. Their only point is to win the ball back, give it to somebody, Trent, give it to a Robertson, give it to a Firmino, a Sané. You're not necessarily going to play through the midfield, right? That's why I'm like, when I look at England and I look at the way that they've set up, I don't get it. I don't understand. What is Harry Kane's role meant to be? How is Harry Kane's chances going to come? At some point, he was dropping back. At some point, Jude was moving all the way back in the other games. Jude was going all the way back in order to go get the ball. And his free role somehow became a defensive role because they were hiding Trent, right? I don't understand how England is meant to score goals. I don't understand Foden's role in all of this. I know Saka. Saka is, English, consistent, stays on that side. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Anyway, it is 0-0. 6 minutes in. So maybe we're still going to see something from England. I guess he had some balls to drop Alexander-Arnold. Maybe he showed a little bit of something. Mara, other than that, he hasn't really changed anything if we're looking at it. But let's see how the mechanics go. Oh, look, who's getting the pass? Time traveler, England, time traveler. You and me, we have I know you. You and me are a certain way. I don't trust you with these things. See, you have to go wide, essentially. You have to go wide. This game was supposed to be a chance for Southgate to try a new system, says Bradley. Doesn't have the balls to, man. Look at where Kane is. Look at where Kane is. Mara Talifang dropping all the way to CDM. Did you see where Kane picked? Huh? So Kane is basically, are they trying to cheat at the Madrid system? Where like Bellingham is a 9-ish 10 or whatever we call him. I don't get it. And then does that not take the most heaven? Like California? I don't get it. When Germany does that switch that Kane did, it's Kroos. It's his job. That's what he does. When he drops into left back, it's for a reason. It's to give him time to think and do all of that stuff. Why is Kane? Jude is a winger now. Does that not take a... Look, now Jude is running in. I don't
know what you guys are doing. I'm trying to figure out the formation. I'm lost.
The best manager to get to the best out of Harry Kane was Mourinho. Kane has always played like this. It's just there are no players to run in behind, but he definitely does it. I've never seen Kane drop that deep to switch play. I understand Kane coming into the 10, maybe you could say an 18-yana and, you know, facilitating the game from there because Heung-min Son is there. Heung-min Son is there. But I have never seen that. I've never seen that. Okay, wait. Okay, let's try to dissect what is happening here. Let's try to dissect what is happening here. They're going to kill the left-hand side. Makes sense. Foden is not necessarily a winger. But they've told Jude to pick up that left wing type role in build-up, I guess. Foden. Harry Kane is playing. Khalifan, I'm sorry. Harry Kane is playing wet balls here. Look at where he's playing the. So he's basically a midfielder. So he's basically a midfielder. Oh, Junior, I said I'd be. During the live, I was FOMO'd and convinced into coming live. So I'm only going to be doing the first half. I'm stealing time from something else, but I'm only going to be doing the first half. Cool 2024 says, let's go Slovenia. This is interesting. Like, this is really interesting. And can they sustain that for a full game? Can Kane play 8 for the full game? And when you play Kane 8 for a full game, what happens to the striking? Are you putting it on Foden? Are you trying to confuse the enemy? Because I can tell you, I'm confused. Cross it in, boy. 4-4-2. You? Okay. I guess we're all saying that Southgate is going to try anything new. This is very new. This is very new. Still would love to see Gordon play. Like, you'd have to drop someone between Jude and Foden. But I'd love to see Gordon play. Give them width on both sides. Maybe let Harry Kane be dangerous in the box. Let's see what happens here. Okay. I want to see how it looks going forward. I think we've seen a little bit of what they're trying to do. So at times Kane drops back and plays that raking pass to the sides. I guess, but I don't know. Quadrilla says England is going to lose this match. Or is this what they wanted Trent to do? Is this what they thought Trent was going to do with that pass? There's not going to be one, Khalifa. There's no vertical passes that are going to come from this. You can even tell by where they're setting up. There's not going to be any vertical passes from this team. Unless somebody wills it so. But otherwise, Rice is just going to run around. Oh, today, Rice is gone. Rice is just going to run around and do whatever. Junior says Germany and Spain are the only composed big teams. It's not even about being composed. For me, it's about what is your plan? Like, what is the thing that you do enough that I can tell that, oh, this is the tactic for today. It just feels like they're trying to rely on like individual brilliance. Like, Ikare, there's what, three or four players that have been given free roll. Kane comes back again. There goes Kane. Cole Palmer should have started. They need creativity, says Prince. Okay, when they switch the ball, Kane comes back. I was thinking that Gareth would have used Trent the way Kroos is used. That's what I'm saying, that is what Kane did there. And maybe it changes, but is those two passes, is that what they expected Alexander-Arnold to do in the midfield role, even though he was just running away? He was running away from the ball, that man. Okay, at least he's giving us something. It's interesting, I guess. 13 minutes in, guys. It is 0-0. England, Slovenia. There have not been any chances. And I doubt either team has actually... Well, Slovenia has gotten into the box once. Utra. Cycle it to the side, boy. Coaches will tell you about this movement. This is all England is doing at the back. Okay, Trippier. It has to go back around. Okay, Jude. Okay, Jude is kind of trying to do the cruise thing, but where are you going to find the pass, boy? Where are you going to find that pass? Cantrip. Cantrip can play. Stones. This is interesting. I don't think this works versus better teams, to be honest with you. I don't think it works. Slovenia a little bit messy with that back four. This English team, man, I miss Maguire, says Bradley. You miss Maguire. Harry Maguire. You can't miss Maguire, man. I know thingy miss. I feel like Jude and Foden should be receiving passes as opposed to them passing it. Which is what you think would happen. It's what Sundowns does. Katembazwani. So Sundowns plays, on paper, it's meant to be a 4-3-3, 3-4-3 type thing. But anyway, the left-hand side dies. So that Tembazwane can come inside and become an extra mid. And that means whoever's in there can drop back to get the ball. So somebody needs to decide, because I don't think Rice is going to be able to do that, to receive those balls. I don't think that's his game. So you'd want one of them since lead two. But what's happening now is that it's almost like they've been told, don't come inside. When one is inside, the other must go outside. It's almost like a balance thing that they're doing. But I'm not sure what the balance is giving them. You know, I'm not sure what the balance is giving them. Exactly, because Foden is used to doing those half turns and taking shots at goal. I want Slovenia to win, says Lisedi. Chris says Trent is weird, but his past two games were bad. Malume Kuto says the system at Real Madrid has really messed with Jude's identity. Young Carlo Ancelotti, yeah? Young Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti doesn't waste time. His teams don't waste time in attack. Oh, well, this Real Madrid team of his doesn't waste time in attack. So you're always going to find some spaces. When it's slow, he doesn't know where to go, Malume Kutz. Talevai says, did you see Rice running with his arms asking for a pass? It's not coming. It's not going to come. What is happening here? Where's Gallagher, guys? Okay, in the past, let's say 5 minutes, have you seen Gallagher? I don't even know. Like I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm trying to figure out where the pass is going to come from. Rice is not going to play that pass. Harry Kane is dropping back. Jude is dropping back. What is Gallagher doing in all of this? Or what is his role in all of this, right? Like those two midfielders, what is the role of each of them? Rice is running with arms up asking for a pass. We know he's usually an 8. He looked so much better when Thomas Partey came back into the Arsenal team, right? He finally got his role and started to run up. But it's like, what is the midfield meant to be doing, guys? I don't get it. Chris says, except Collar is good, Southgate is bad. Msiana says, where is Grealish? Where is Grealish? He was left home. Foden, trying to play, was he? I don't know what, you could have, you know what? Let me just read the comments. This year, Palon going to be given to the worst player ever to win it. Vinny's playing nonsense in Brazil. Would Vinny win it? Because the PR is strong on that side. Gallagher in midfield. Gallagher is a midfielder and has barely touched the ball. He's out here just running for vibes. NH, kind of who said it in the beginning. Gallagher is energy. You don't have a brain in midfield. LJ, what do you mean? I'm watching it on TV. I don't know if you're streaming it. Pendulo says, Jude deep lying is okay, only if it's going to be permanent. Structure is key or they'll be open to threat. Look, they're all running from the ball. Look. Where's the inside pass going to come from? If all of you are lined up to try and make a run, that's not there. Heaven. All right, guys. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Set up for the shot then. Or something. Yo, I have, guys, this is... There we go. There we go. Is that a goal? Offside. Okay, Foden almost made it happen there. Southgate should play Foden and Bellingham as 2 10s. Foden is the club only player. Lindo says it's the responsibility of the double pivot is for one to swap and the other to play as a register. That's what I'm trying to say, Lindo, that I'm used to midfields that are set up like that, right? We understand that there's somebody who collects the ball. So now Gallagher can't hold the ball, can't play a ball. Rice is not going to be the dropping back player. He's looking to go forward, like he's looking for those 1-2s going forward or to progress the ball once the first pass has been made. So now, if you have two of those guys, then where's the forward movement going to come from? And then at times, Jude is a winger. Yo, guys, Foden is not coming back to collect. Kane was playing, he played 2 long passes. This is weird. This is weird. He brings energy, English, love that type of midfielder. Southgate is nonsense finding a replacement for Calvin Phillips, who he didn't play, by the way. Last time out, they didn't play him, if I'm not mistaken. Marasaka. Except Gallagher attacks more in Chelsea. That's why I'm saying that it... Hey, man. Talifang says Rice isn't a great passer, Shem. Quality first-time pass, though, there. Siana says Foden, Saka, and Kane, they score 20-plus goals at their clubs, but England is struggling up front because there's a system. Rice has a responsibility to create a 1-3 in the position in the consolidation phase. True, Lindo, but for me, that's not the role that he plays. And as an Arsenal fan, I know that he's not particularly good in that role. So you need somebody next to him who's a little bit stronger. Luckily, Partey is like a double player who can play the defensive stuff and also progress the ball very well. Gallagher and Rice is not going to work. Gallagher and Rice is not going to work. You'd also need your number 10 to be active, similar to what he does with Odegaard. Yo, guys. Score predictions, I don't know. Then Gallagher is the progressive midfielder. He has the responsibility to progress the game with a pass or drive with the ball. Exactly. So that's the party. I don't think Gallagher is good at playing that game. And when I look at England's bench, let's look at England's bench. Wait, I really want to see England's bench. Because I have a feeling that they don't have a player like that at all. Maybe Maino, maybe. That's why they were trying to Jimmy Kimang. They're trying to Jimmy Trent into that position. Let's see the lineups. Let's see the lineups. Oh, show me the lineups. What's happening now? There we go. Okay, Luke Shaw, Trent, Ramsdale, Konsa, Dunk, Tony, Gordon, Watkins, Bowen, Eze, Gomez, Henderson, Cole Palmer, Wharton, Maino. So it's only Maino, I guess. Maino is the only person who can, maybe we can say they used to, not even used to, but Polly says England, Bellingham to header. Peko says, here we go again, my England. Hey, guys. Do you know what's frustrating? What's frustrating is that sometimes things don't work great, but you see it. Like you understand what the team is trying to do. The example that I always use is Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp in his first year at Liverpool, his first year or two, you could tell that, okay, there's a style, there's a build-up, there's all of that stuff. It's just that these players are not the type of players that he needs to make this work. Like, you can see it. 3 games into watching England, well, let's say, what, 200 minutes into watching England, I still don't know what the plan is meant to be. 5th best team in the world right now. Oh, are we seeing central passes finally? Kane Wabatu, he's gone. Adam Wharton, they need a player like Jones to play as a progressive midfielder and think like a 6 out of position, says Lindo. Chris says possibly Eric Dyer, who could play centre back and DM, except he would defend more. Had a good season. You see, if you could put Dyer next to Rice, you'd see something. Maybe. But yeah, guys, except for some reason they left him out. Yeah, I don't know. Either he sat down with these people and they went, you know what, Trent is going to play 6. And they definitely thought that Trent was going to play that type of game. The thinking of Southgate is he needs a left foot on the left side of both boxes. So Foden gives that, gives balance. Okay. I just don't think he knows his role or understands what the role is meant to be. Look at Foden and Bellingham taking up the same positions. I don't know. I guess they're lucky that Slovenia is not here. It doesn't seem like they've arrived at all. Look, everybody's so far away. Saka breaks in the center. There's no one there. Hi, guys. The ball is on the right-hand side for England, but why are the players on the other side not make... Okay, you know what? Let's just carry on reading. Pep, I need Phil inside. He's the best there. Junior says Samuel game between France and England. The mess. Oh, the mess. Remember, OT positional players about playing in your zone. I understand it, but they're so far away from each other, Lindo. A player gets a ball, turns into space. Like Saka turned into the space, but there was no one there to help and no one there to receive the ball. It's frustrating. Chris says Denmark scored 1-0, but disallowed for a goal. It's frustrating. That's all I'm going to say. It's frustrating. At this level, I think also. Look, Rice hides himself behind a player. Literally started running behind a player instead of attacking that space. There was a little space there. Trippier traps the ball. Who's coming to help? Look at Rice. Behind the player. Gallagher, I don't even know where he is. Gallagher, I don't know where he is. Look at Rice, Shem. He's outnumbered. Somebody drop back. Kane, finally. Kane is like, hey guys, I'll accept the responsibility and come back. Watch. Yeah, but a back pass right there. Oh. The only saving grace is that Slovenia is a little bit sloppy as well. Same Shandis, they don't have a way to play out. Has England ever had so many big players? Big as in size or big as in status? Hence the relationism will be huge in the next 2 years. Okay. The class of Scholes, Lampard. Yeah, I just wanted to know what Malume Kutsa meant there. Okay, here comes Slovenia. Too much, boy, too much. It kills the X factor and they look predictable, says Lindo. Master GD says in 2026 there'll be expanded World Cup and expanded Club World Cup and expanded UCL too. Junior says Kane is tired. The midfield is nowhere to be found. Guningi, Junior. Guningi. There's a lot happening here. England problem is that they lose the ball so easily. It's because there's no one there. Like, look at that. Saka's gone. I can't play to Saka. Oh, Rice finally didn't hide behind someone. Thank you, Rice. Finally. Otrapa Polo and there's no one there. Like there's no creativity for the English team, says Bradley. Madison and Grealish would have drawn the players in and allow. Is Jane Daba says England, the overhyped team playing. With all the depth that England have, you'd think that they'd be 1-0 or 2-0 up by now. Do you know what I'll do? I'm going to be, since I'm only here for the first half, let me open up. Let me just open it straight. So remember, guys, you have to be following me in order to jump in. Let's have a conversation about what we are seeing because I'm struggling to understand a couple of things here with how they're playing. So, guys, feel free to request. It is open. Let's speak. Let's talk about what we're seeing. Maybe we can come to an understanding of what Southgate is trying to do.
Let's talk about what we're seeing.
Welcome to the show. How are you?
The generation layer will impact Gerard Nabo schools. They could actually convert players with Pagadala position about
Okay.
right. But people 16 wider than Escoping, right? What I'm asking, now you've got EPL player of the season, you've got La Liga player of the season, and then you have captain a team Harry Kane, Saka, and I think he was last season's player of the season. Nabantu laba badlala almost endaweni eyi-1 in as much as Harry Kane is striker. Ukwaletse Bellingham Tsela, basically. Bellingham has been playing with that area open. So manje, he doesn't even want to compromise. He's like, this guy is in my way. Foden, ulokusha ikatara for Man City as Henzela, but he doesn't even want to look at Kane. And we can't forget the pedigree Kane. Kane is a big player. If Kane is in space, he has to pass. He is Mbappe. But right now, Foden is also his own Mbappe. He's player of the season in the EPL. So he can do what he wants. Bellingham is also Mbappe. He can also understand the conflict.
So doesn't that come down to coaching? Because, like I said earlier, there's 4 players that are playing 3 roles here. And Mazembe, as you're saying.
Yeah, hey. Coach because I can see there's a serious clash of egos here. It's not like in your face, but there's the thing of whose team is this?
Yeah, I agree fully.
So
stay on. I'm gonna come back. Let me bring in Lindo. Hey, there's a lot of things happening here. It's an experimental team, this one. Welcome.
Shakunjana Tam.
I'm right, Lindo. Lindo, can you make sense of this for me?
No. To be honest with you, OT, I'm watching the game right now, and my thoughts are, I'm actually like analyzing like the football at a different like scale, and I'm thinking about it from a perspective, even from the philosophy on its own, you know. If you look at the last tournament that they played, this style of play, Slovakia, won Italy this tournament. And the positional play didn't really succeed with Netherlands. I think it happened today as well. So many teams used to use the style. And my thoughts are, these teams, they look too predictable, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think it's better at club levels because those players get to have relationships. They get to train together on a day-to-day basis, so they understand each other in terms of movement, in terms of chemistry, in terms of what's needed as well, in terms of game temperament. But to be honest with you, while I'm watching England and I'm thinking about Southgate, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. Okay. And I'm looking at the two fullbacks, for example, right? And Umalume Kuto, I'm glad that he's in this conversation because we're going to speak football right now. For me, I feel that the two fullbacks are not creative enough for a big team like England. I look at Trippier. Trippier, one of his qualities, if we profile him, for example, is a technical player. He can pass both left and right. As we can see, he's playing as a left back. He's good because he can overlap. He's very good in dead ball situations, as we can see right now. He's one of the leaders in terms of dead ball situations. But he's more creative when he's playing in the right channel. And Nakona Utripe, his qualities as to bring a cross from a defensive third, where after to jump a line, he doesn't really come into an assist zone that much. And then you look at Walker plays a different profile of a right back, even like Manchester City, where he normally sticks in the three, where he offers cover for a rest defense, to always give you balance, to always have 5 players to stop counter attacks. So those players don't bring in any quality in terms of going forward. So every time that means England, my attacker, there's -2. You understand that, OT? Because they don't offer the support to both wingers, which is Osaka and Foden. So their responsibilities say to you when you're watching the game, these people are not fullbacks that want to create, but they are fullbacks that want to support. So they provide the support. So in their attack, they already have -2. So where do they have attack? So they need a number 10 now, which is what Bellingham. That's why he has a huge responsibility. But they are playing with 1, so they've got only 4 attacking players. So which other responsibility? So it shifts to their 8 now. Who offers the attack in that 8? You look at Bellingham, you look at Gallagher, you look at a player like Rice. They offer nothing going forward. So that means they've got less numbers every time when they attack, because both fullbacks offer nothing. They've got 2 wingers, they've got a striker, and they've got the number 10. When I watch Bellingham in this game, he's always late to join in the box. His box entries are always late. In the assist zone, he doesn't look dangerous. You look at Harry Kane, he doesn't look dangerous in the assist zone. He doesn't look dangerous even with his final pass. Their press is not really good because, OT, if you don't have a special player, it is believed, that's why Jurgen Klopp believes in this. If you really don't have a special player, then your counter press needs to be special as well. Because more counter press are well. When you counter press well, you are 1 pass away from the goal. You just need 1 pass. So those are my thoughts. When I'm watching the game, they lack creativity. They look too predictable. And they've got less numbers every time when they attack. I just feel like the style of play is really not suiting these players, to be honest with you.
I want to ask Malube Kuto, is it a situation where you're trying to, shoehorn players in? Because as Ulindo spoke about here, most of these players are not compatible. Saka is used to having White, who comes in and helps him. Like, he comes and overlaps, and then that might create those things where, he 1-on-1. Foden is used to having somebody who's deep, who can play the ball to him so that he can have fun. Kwako 10. Trippier, as far as I know, can go all the way up and is usually crossing. But he can't do that because Foden is high, there's no one to cover. Is it just, or Gareth Southgate is not, he's just picking players, and putting them on paper, but in terms of how they work together, it's not working.
And Mr. Utsi does Bonayo, and he tries to address them. Unfortunately, he's being let down. And we can all agree with you. This team selected itself, you understand, through the media and everything. And I think another thing they're suffering from, it's a serious problem for me. The profiling at Jude Bellingham. I think it's completely wrong. Where he plays in that creative room, it needs a player who's way more technical than what Jude Bellingham has. And I say this with the greatest of respect. He's a very, very good player. But I don't think we can trust him with that responsibility. I understand the and Lentole Ulinda Reza Ayalamba fullback. They also eliminate a prospected decoy.
Okay.
I understand that. In terms of Foden, I was a cutter in while the fullback stresses about a decoy, which is this person a decoy or Basolzala down the line or Ranja, even on the other side. there's no stress about work, how 2 years or agezi. They understand them, Mr. OT. So it's extremely difficult. Mina ngiyamzwela ubuhlungu uSouthgate, honestly, because he tried addressing one issue and he's been hammered for trying to address that issue. He played Trent for a reason.
Yeah.
He knew ukuthi lezi ezinye akekho umuntu ozongispray ibhola la. So he decided ukuthi let me try use Trent. Limhamarile OT. Limhamarile to a point where now he's succumbing, but man, he must have bigger balls, man, respectfully.
Okay. Lindo, how much does this fall on Southgate's feet? Because for me, a national team coach is nice, or it should be a better job in terms of the type of talents and people that you have available to you. For me, it feels as though Southgate is a little bit afraid of making unpopular decisions, making unpopular selections. Maybe he's even allowed himself just a little. Maybe the Harry Maguire is the only one he's allowed to make. How much of this falls to Gareth Southgate that, you've got all these stars, but someone has to put the system down?
To be honest with you, OT, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm going to be brutally honest. Even when you are saying Italy, for me, I say Italy these are just average players, actually. When I watch these boys, but too much hype. Yeah, that's why I don't really watch. I don't watch English football, to be honest with you, man. Even when my friends talk about Arsenal and Chelsea, I'm a big Chelsea fan. When people speak about English, I really don't engage in those conversations because I don't really watch. So to be honest with you, I really feel sorry, Mina, for Southgate, to be honest with you, because I look at Declan Rice, for example. He's rated as one of the best midfielders in the man.
Too easy, Rev. England winning.
Hang on, Pex.
I look at a player like Declan Rice for me, he's done well for Arsenal, very coachable player. But I look at him here, I don't know whether it's the season that he had at Arsenal, but I feel that he looks like a very average player here. With a great of respect to Jude Bellingham for me. Very great player, scores goals, reminds me of Ahly when he had a great season with Spurs. But I don't rate him as much as for me. The best players I've seen in the tournament so far, Vitinha, Portugal, Musiala, Germany. I don't think it comes to that level for me, in my opinion, in terms of driving his team, in terms of energy, in terms of attack. I got guy like expect to understand. You're a good player because I don't criticize because he had an incredible season. You look at a striker like Harry Kane as well. But for me personally, England, OT, they had a 10-year plan, I think 14 years ago, where they wanted to build this team that they have now and build this quality of players that they have now, where they had a model by Tata from HMN, where HMN was doing well after 2006 and stuff like that. So their model, even if you can Google it, the English FA, they profile everything, OT, from how they want to develop a player, from their training sessions. So it's a model of how they wanted to develop these players. That's how they play the same from their under 19s to their under 17s to their senior team. But for me, when I watch football now, I feel that,
Before you move on from that point, I want to ask you, is this now, are we seeing what happens when you over-systematize football? That Foden is a star
that's where I'm moving.
In a system,
Yeah, that's where I'm moving, Uguti. So these systems, in Gamla, they are very intelligent on our team. Babonile that if football is actually moving away from them and they started creating jobs for themselves. They started adding sports science and adding throw-in referees, strikers referees, and they changed football into and they changed. They actually created jobs for these people are very smart. They created jobs for themselves in football. And Arsene Wenger did say this, that in the next 5 to 10 years, coaches are going to be scientists. you know. And when I watch football now, that's what I'm thinking, and I feel sad for the upcoming kids that are watching football, and I feel like the game is really moving away from them because we've killed a player like Uganso. There's a player in Brazil, maybe Uganso, which is a player like Umshishi. It took Umshishi time for people to appreciate him, and I'm happy that people are appreciating players like Abotito again in this country, because Utami, my friend, Gumafenzo to TV, always says that you cannot be better than Europeans. And I feel that people and Africans are starting to sense what I've been sensing for a very long time, that European football is starting to be boring, in my opinion. You understand? And when I watch Southgate and I listen to my English fans from Talk Sport and Double Simon Jordans and all these people, you get a sense that there's a certain way they want him to play. And there's a certain way they want him to get results. Because for me, at international level, it's about results. But it seems like there's a certain way he needs to play. There's a certain way he needs to get results. It's not an easier national team to coach. It's not a national team that gets satisfied. They haven't won anything, I think, since 1966. So he's under pressure. But for me, I feel like he's a coach that has balls. I'm sorry for my language. I feel that he's built a team over the years, Ngabo Mekwaya and all these players. It's unfortunate that he didn't win the last tournament, but I feel what he's done for English football is incredible. Bringing all these youngsters. I see I was watching him, I think 7 years ago, winning the under-17 World Cup. Before them, they were in that squad. That's the system we are talking about now. I'm just hoping that football moves away from this style of play, because I feel that Pep Guardiola is a top coach, but he has turned football into a sport that we only speak about pass completion. I think these players are worried about that. How many passes did I play? They are worried about those little things.
Let me get the other guys in as well. Just for them to get in as well. Pendulo, what are you seeing, man, from this English team, Pendulo? Tell me what you're seeing from this English team. What's going on here? Oh, what happened? Did it die? Guys, please request again. My multi-guest decided to just die for some reason. I don't know what's happening here. But guys, please jump in again. I'm not going to be on for long, guys. Hey, today I can only do the first half and a little bit of... I can only do the first half break. So let's see what you can do. Pendulo,
yes, sir.
What are you seeing from this game, man? I'm confused. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I see a disjointed national team. Indeed, there's an influence from the fans. They have high expectations for their national team, and it's justifiable to think that, because I'd beg to differ from some of the people in the panel that these players aren't really good enough, because they've proven it. For me, the Premier League is one of the most intense leagues in the world, and one of the leagues that offer a lot in terms of thrill and entertainment. So if you look at players like Harry Kane, he has dominated such a league for a long time, scoring 20 plus goals per season. But now you see him coming to such a tournament that we regard as a boring tournament. The defense in most of these national teams have is not that good. So you'd expect someone like Harry Kane to be able to get at least 5 goals, at least in the group stage, knowing his profile. So now, to going back to the fact that I think the team is disjointed. In fact, I think Gareth Southgate is a tactically inept coach, because we know you choose, right? As a coach, and I believe that as a national team coach, you have to choose whether you're going to use players that are accustomed to a more freeway style of playing, or players that are used to a systematic style of play. So if you're gonna pick the players like Bukayo Saka, who's coached by this boy that was under Pep's wing, and you've got Phil Foden on that side. There you have players that are used to being to enter the pitch knowing what to do when they get in there. So now when I'm figure, you don't really know anything. You pick the squad just because someone in the media prefer that player to join. You need to have a style and have proper intentions going into the league, because now when you look at England, you've got Chelsea. That player, for me, when I was watching him at Crystal Palace, I knew for a fact that boy was going to be something like Kevin De Bruyne because of the way he was driving forward with the ball, scoring and creating those goals. But then Oibon Leondolo, he's being put like a midfielder to be a deep line player, whereas there are players in the very squad. But then I probably think it's because of the age, or Angaz, people like mine who is able to play centrally and more deep and control the game better.
Yeah.
You are inhibiting these players' qualities. Lindo spoke about Lokunja, Harry Kane, no Lokunja, no Bellingham. Bellingham, I don't know whether it's Lindo or whoever. Bellingham, I can answer the space that he usually has good Real Madrid, because Kane is there and by confusion. And manje, it's not really about stars. It's just that the selection of the squad is poor because these players aren't really playing positions that they should be playing, which was going to like benefit the whole squad.
So then, Pedro, very quickly, does this maybe come down to the fact that, you know, in modern football, the systems are so detailed and so strong that Foden looks like an incredible player when he's playing for Manchester City. But when he goes into a place where the system is slightly different, or he doesn't have the same support staff, they're not as adaptable as they should be. Is that maybe one of the problems that we're seeing with modern football, especially these really big names in really big teams?
I really believe, just like I said earlier when we were watching the Netherlands, it's not so easy to switch modes, because there's a lot that Pep puts into his style and system so that it functions properly, right? And I refuse to believe Pep is ruining football. Pep is revolutionizing football because he's bringing a new way of playing that whereby players push very high and be able to maintain position in the opposition's half, which is something that we rarely see in football, because they totally outlast Real Madrid. They totally outlast Real Madrid in 2 legs. Just that Real Madrid, for me, Madrid were just lucky in the Champions League. And Manje, you have to choose, just like I said, whether you want to take Foden and play him here, but you need to ensure that Foden understands what he needs to do, because you've seen it all. Foden has waited for almost 2 years under whereas Pep was playing Umares, but then the boy was there waiting for his opportunity, and then when the opportunity came, what do you think Foden was doing in that period of time? Foden was learning the style, and as a national football coach, you need to ensure that you bring players that understand what you want. That's exactly why I think in the past Southgate was doing well, because he brought in Abu Maguire, people who were actually doing what he wants, and they actually understood his tactics.
For time, I'm just gonna jump in. Let me bring in Khalifan. Khalifan, aye man, this can't be rocket science, but Khalifan. They've got analysts, they've got coaches, they've got all of these people, you know, these La Liga Player of the Year, England Player of the Year. What's going on here at England, Khalifan?
I'm with Ulindo, man. Like, football is so system-based that it's ruined individuality in it. And these players are only good in the system designed for them. And they themselves perhaps can't express themselves and adapt outside of the system designed for them in their club every week. So I think the biggest issue that Mutona has, Gareth, is that now you are trying to fit all those players in this position that they're good at club level. But it doesn't work and it's not cohesive in this England setup. Because you are playing Jude where you are playing him because he plays that way for Real Madrid. But the players that he has at Real Madrid don't function like Kane. They don't have those kinds of things. Where Phil Foden is playing, it's what he's hoping that he does at Man City. But it doesn't function that way. He's struggling with that kind of a thing. With Rice, the same thing. But Rice needs someone that is able to progress the ball forward. That's why he works so well, Lepate. That's why he works so well, Le Jorginho. But it doesn't work with Gallagher next to you. So all these things, it's difficult job that Gareth has. But yeah, and I just truly believe he doesn't have Moto that has the keys to this team. And says, you are the leader of this team. We're going to play around 1 or 2 or 3 of you players. The rest of you get in line. I don't think that's happening. And I'm going
But
to
after 8 years, Khalifan, before we move, after 8 years of coaching this team, we are still asking for this man to create balance.
It's after 8 years of coaching these teams, but in those 8 years, different players emerge as Dita. So as every year there's another one. Jude Naleka is ning kyo motufikil. Naleka Foden kyo fikil. So odds are where he can, who's most relevant and who's performing at the highest level at the moment. Marahaba Kopane as a unit. Because they're all trying to do what they're good at, but doesn't feed off of each other. And that's the biggest struggle. And the systems isn't what man, it's the player. Isn't a polo ya pora no man. Fuck. Everyone's not trying to play the same way and play out the same way and progress the ball the same way. And I'm tired. I'm tired, honestly speaking. But yeah, it's a tough one. But I think Renkabua fellas fans on the side, you must do this, that, and the third. But if he decides and says, hey guys, I'm not playing Jude Bellingham, I'm going to play Cole Palmer, it's going to be an uproar. It's tough. Just like he took out Trent now. So it's not an easy job for that. But that's my piece.
I think what's frustrating me about the Euros is that I feel like all of these teams are practicing in the group stages. They're all practicing. They're all trying to figure these things out. I'm like, Mara guys. But anyway, let me go to Kolani. Kolani, ubona ngule game Kolani. Ngezakala
I would say, I would say, ngizokhuluma njenge old school fan. Oti, you play your best players, my best positions are Mr. Oti. I mean, Oti, like Kono Lomfana about Manu when we're United. Play that guy there who keep a trend and find a position right for trend. Like Mr. Oti, first half, I think it was 15 minutes. I saw Gallagher and no Rice making the same run like Scoopy. They were so close, Mr. Oti. There was a space left on the left. Even the commentator said, wow, this is strange. They're both making the same run. I understand, Mr. Oti. This guy has been coaching England for like 8 years. And still, even if Ngatua but Mr. Oti, you have to have a system. At least have a system, Mr. Oti. Gubo would say, okay, you're changing the personnel. But still now, I can't tell you what system gakerat it's him, Mr. Oti. He doesn't have an identity. System and also, Mr. Oti, I'm trying to find out why who's this guy a player of the season? Phil Foden, yes. Why Mdlalaga left? Because it doesn't provide any pass. Because for me, if you're gonna play a left wing, a left, like a left-footed player, a left, you expect to touch him across and Maizo inverter. You play we opposite attack. Like first half, Ugewa Zama to cut back and then he failed to protect the ball because he left so he's exposed. He can't protect Ipola with the other leg because Ujalango left the veil. So for me, I will play him Ufil next to Usaka and also use Walker, like is it Walker or right? Like
Yeah, Walker.
Kuto suggested he must provide it yabo to keep them guessing ukuthi will he play the ball to if full back normal, will he cut also cut a back. Like for me, Mr. Otsi, like I'll play feel for them like Odegaard like indlela dlala ngayo we Arsenal and try to create the triangle combinational play. So for me, Mr. Otsi, that this guy he's overrated. Like for me, Mr. Otsi, do you think any player with England take who's out get serious? Like I don't think they
so.
take them serious, Mr. Otsi.
Yeah,
Like
no, I don't think so.
yeah, even the change room, I don't think he has the change room.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
Guys,
that's my take.
hey guys, I've just been summoned, so I'm just gonna summarize, or not even summarize. I'll give you my thoughts. When we speak about this system, we're having system conversation, and this is where I look at Abu Gareth Southgate, and I want to point it to the coaches. Guys, I know coaches that coach, that you have to coach, that you have to figure out how to make this work. I feel like what we're watching from the big teams is that the media and fans are picking players, the players are then being put onto the team, and the coach is now under pressure to play these guys. But fine, that's where the cookie is. That's where the cookie crumbles. That's where the thing has landed. Southgate now has to figure out what to do. What I don't like about when we're watching these games, when we're watching these things, here comes Mano. When we're watching these things, I don't like that I'm sitting here and I have an answer, and Lindo has an answer, and Malume Kuta has an answer, and Kolane and Pendula have an answer, and I'm looking at the coach and I'm saying, what are you doing? Guys, we saw Harry Kane dropping back to 6 to play balls. We saw Jude and Foden running into the same spaces. We haven't seen Saka this whole game. We haven't seen Gallagher. Rice hides behind other players. He's moving around because he does not know what he's meant to do. Trippier, who we know for getting up the pitch, is sitting at the back. So now I look at Gareth Southgate and I say, what are you looking at and seeing for 3, 4, 5 games where you're struggling with the same thing and you're not changing it? And what point do you say, as coach of England, as coach of England, I am going to make my decisions and put my players or order the players in a certain way? All of us have said either Foden or Bellingham sits on the bench. Because now you have 2 players who are running in, they're not even coming. Guys, you have 2 players playing in the 10. Both of them are dropping in. You have nobody who can give the ball to the 10. You're going wide. Jude was playing left wing at some point. So, okay, what do we expect to see from these teams? And I'm sad because it's England, it's France, we've seen it with Portugal, we've seen it with a couple of teams here at the Euro, where these big players are unadaptable to what's happening and their coaches don't care to make the changes that need to be made. So that's why I'm like, now when I watch these games, it's not rocket science. It's not this modern football. It's not whatever. There's problems, you solve them. If you see something, you change it. We are not seeing that here. They're just lucky that Slovenia, Shem, they're not in this game at all. Slovenia is not even going forward. We don't know how they even want to play the football. So they're lucky in that regard. But if they were to meet a well-organized team, they'd take advantage of these people. But anyway, guys, I need to go. Thank you so much to everybody that joined. Thank you to those that joined in the panel. My time is up. So I'll see you guys. I'm still doing watch-alongs. Obviously, we're going to go into the final 16 and the knockouts. The last 16 and the knockouts. I will tell you how the schedule is going to work, but I'm basically here almost every day. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you then. Hey, Lenko says kuluma leso.